So in today's video, I want to talk about BPD and paranoid ideation. Let's get straight into it. Tips for easing paranoia in borderline personality disorder. Many people with borderline personality disorder experience paranoia or paranoid thinking under conditions of stress. Paranoia is a term generally used to refer to intense beliefs of mistrust or the malicious intentions of others. For example, someone with paranoia may have a belief that the government is listening to their phone calls or that their spouse is having an affair. Just to quickly go back, conditions of stress. I find that when I am stressed, everything is elevated, so I can definitely agree with that. Let's move straight on to paranoia as a symptom of BPD. Paranoia is one of the 9 symptoms identified in the diagnostic criteria for the condition in the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders. The other 8 symptoms of BPD that are listed are in the DSM-5-TR. Emotional instability. Efforts to avoid abandonment or fear of abandonment, identity disturbances, feelings of emptiness, inappropriate and intense anger, impulsive behaviours, unstable interpersonal relationships, suicide or self-harming behaviours. In order to be diagnosed with BPD, a person must experience 5 or more of the 9 symptoms. Woohoo. The paranoia that occurs in BPD is considered non-delusional. This distinguishes the paranoia that occurs in borderline personality disorder from the type of paranoid delusions that occur in psychotic conditions like schizophrenia or schizoaffective disorder. Prevalence and paranoia. Research indicates that 87% of people with BPD experience paranoia. 87% of people with BPD experience paranoia. Now, I could talk about my experiences of paranoia. There was an example that I've read of you sort of come home, you've had a really, really negative day. You've maybe had some crosswords with someone before in the past and they're still sort of lingering. And then potentially you walk home and you see 2 friends and they're sort of whispering in the corridor, and then as soon as you walk through the door they stop their conversation. Then all of a sudden that anxiety creeps in. They were talking about me, I don't like that, and you start to go down that route, which could lead to anger and frustration and then impulsivity and etc. When actually, they might have just been having a conversation about something completely different and just chose to depart when you came in. Maybe they had other things that they needed to do. I've had lots of experiences of this in my life, and say for example, if I was to go to like a party or something and I feel a little bit insecure and anxious, and maybe I burst out into tears because of those feelings, and then I see just people having again a general chit chat, well then potentially, and to be honest, in the past this has happened, I could come back into the room, or you could come back into the room, and you might think that people are talking about how you just exited. You exited in tears, you're feeling embarrassment and maybe a little bit of shame because of that. You come back into the room and you think that these people that you are surrounded by feel the same way about you as you currently feel about yourself. And often that's not true. It's just not true. Maybe sometimes it is. It's all dependent on the situation, but often it's this little thought that's in the back of your head that is telling you something that isn't real world. It's a feeling that has come to you because of BPD and these experiences, but your internal monologue doesn't reflect what other people are thinking. And I guess that's kind of what anxiety is, trying to come up with solutions and things, how others are feeling, so that it will dictate how you feel. But I don't know if that's the right way to go about things. Anyway, back to it. Paranoid ideation in BPD. Episodes of paranoid thinking or ideation can range from mild and short-lived to very severe and chronic. Some individuals with psychotic disorders such as schizophrenia or delusional disorder tend to have severe chronic paranoid ideation that has no relationship to reality. While many people with borderline personality disorder do experience paranoia, since it is part of the diagnostic criteria for BPD, it tends to occur only under conditions of stress and interpersonal conflict. Like what I just said there, maybe you've had some cross words with someone before, or there's been some previous event that is now affecting how you think in your current time. But unfortunately, it might be a complete misconstruction. I hope that's the word. A misconstruction of what's actually happening. I'm going to Google that and I'm going to stick the definition right here, and I hope that it's right. Examples of paranoia in BPD. For example, let's play this out. An adolescent with BPD might see two of his friends talking in the hallway and develop the paranoid belief that his friends all secretly hate him and are planning to humiliate him. Or an adult with BPD might misread their partner's cues that they want some alone time as the relationship is being terminated, and dwell on this belief even when a great deal of evidence to the contrary is presented. Now, it's interesting, this second example, misreading a partner's cues and things like that, that isn't just the only effect of it. So paranoia is one element of it, but that paranoia can then lead towards the splitting side of things because of how fast that internal monologue is. So for example, they've misread a cue, they want some alone time. Everybody's well within their right to have their alone time. Just because you're in a relationship with someone doesn't mean you have to be around them all the time. If anybody ever asks for space, you give them space. That's what they want. But then seeing that as an issue, does this space mean breakup? Does having this bit of alone time mean they want to be alone more of the time, which means they don't want to be with me, which means I feel awful because there's that fear of abandonment, so the splitting starts occurring. So if they're going to abandon me, well then I'm going to abandon them. So I completely resent them now, and this has happened all within the space of 3 minutes, 5 minutes. And you can see the sort of issue here. And this is where I always come back to not acting upon those impulsive, emotional thoughts that just trigger straight away. Having those rockets of emotions is part of BPD. Whether or not you listen to them is not part of BPD. That's part of you. That's your logical brain. I would advise that you always use that. Because, even if this paranoid ideation is happening, often that's triggered by emotional feelings, if not all of the time. Your logical brain is probably saying, no, they're not talking about me, because they have nothing to talk about. We've already discussed the problem, it's already been fixed. But the emotional, illogical part of your brain is screaming at you, no, there is a problem. Listen to logical. Be smart about it. How can we ease the paranoid ideation? Obviously, man-like therapy coming through. Types of therapy that can be helpful for borderline personality disorder include DBT and mentalization-based treatment. DBT is a form of cognitive behavior therapy that helps people with emotional regulation, relationships, and distress tolerance. MBT can help people learn to recognize how emotions affect behaviors. Medication, you can take medication to be able to aid you with BPD. How to cope with paranoia in BPD. Because paranoia in BPD is worse when you are under stress, you may find it helpful to find ways to relax through your stress. Some popular stress busters are, are you ready for this? Biofeedback. In biofeedback, you can learn how to control things such as heart rate and certain muscles by having monitors attached to you, so you can visualize and hear what's going on in your body. That sounds quite interesting, actually. By learning how to change your thoughts or emotions to slow these mechanisms down, you help reduce stress. Interesting, you might want to look into that actually. Meditation. Meditation is a mindfulness practice that has existed for centuries. While there are different techniques, most focus on quiet, calm, relaxation, and focusing one's attention. Different meditation methods can be found online, and obviously there's plenty of videos, yoga, Pilates. My stepfather used to practice Buddhism as a way to help with mindfulness, and evidence indicates meditation and other mindfulness practices can be useful for relieving symptoms of stress and improving overall well-being. Research has found that mindfulness training may be a useful tool for relieving some aspects of BPD symptoms. If you would like to see me have my first ever yoga session, I'll probably do it just in the other room, let me know down in the comments below. I've never had a yoga session before, and I'll be interested to give it a go. So I'll probably just follow a guide on YouTube or something, and maybe we can all do it together. Tai Chi. Oh, this is interesting. Another ancient practice, Tai Chi, was meant for self-defense, but is used by many people now to relax and reduce stress. Like yoga, it involves specific poses targeting concentration, slow movements, and focused breathing. I practice a completely different martial art, but I feel like it completely changed how I feel consistently on a daily basis. So I practice Muay Thai, kickboxing, maybe a little bit of boxing. I used to train at a gym. Now I don't. I just go to my sort of regular gym, and I just go on a punch bag. I ended up injuring myself. I go on that punch bag 3 or 4 times a week, and I blast it. I absolutely blast it. I get rid of every single little frustration that I have, and then after I'm done, I'm so exhausted. And when I come back and I go to sleep and I wake up the next day, I am so achy and tired, and obviously I stretch through that and do different things to try and aid that recovery process. But where I'm so exhausted, it really helps slow down my internal monologue, which often leads me to this paranoid ideation and these emotional spikes. So finding something, a way of exertion, will really help you. It will really help you, and if you've never done it before, I really encourage you to try. If you're slowing down, I encourage you to get back into it. Keep on at it. It will really help change your mentality. All of those positive endorphins, you don't know. It helps with body image and things like that. It's really helped me, and I hope it can really help you. Then we have yoga. Like meditation, the focus with yoga is on calm, relaxation, quiet, as well as posture and flexibility, which is a huge thing, posture and flexibility. There are many free yoga apps and instructional videos online to instruct you on your yoga on your own. Or you can sign up for a class at your local gym. Or you can watch a YouTube video and do it with me. Recap. Finding ways to cope with stress may help reduce feelings of paranoia in borderline personality disorder. A few stress relieving strategies that can help include biofeedback, deep breathing, meditation, Tai Chi, and yoga. But keep this in mind, you little blood clot. While there are many stress relievers that can be helpful if you have borderline personality disorder, it is important to seek professional treatment. Paranoia and other BPD symptoms can affect many different areas of your life, including your health, your relationships, and your work. While the symptoms of the condition can create problems in your life, getting treatment and finding ways to cope can help you manage your stress and lead a fulfilling life. That was lovely. My biggest thing I've taken from that is exertion and practicing how to control your mind seems like a huge part of it. If you let it run wild and run free, problems can occur. if you're actively trying to learn and better your emotional control, which then leads to emotional stability, it seems like the process of doing that can help you and make you feel better. And like I say, coming back to the exercise thing, it is a huge part of my life now. I've always done exercise, yes, and I only realised when I stopped doing exercise how in check it keeps me. I can say now that I feel the most stable that I have done in the last 10 years. Now obviously, comparing this to the video that I released last week, it may not seem so. That was just an element of a bad day, and I just wanted to capture that to just show you the highs and lows. I want to be real, I want to be me, I want to be as vulnerable as I can, so that hopefully you who are watching can be vulnerable in your own sense with the people around you. Picking my nose. I'm feeling in good form, and as I'm getting older, BPD is becoming easier to manage. I'm starting to feel just more human. I'm starting to feel more normal, and maybe that's coming with age and knowledge, but maybe that's because I'm learning about this disorder, and as I'm learning about it, I'm able to start ticking off some of those 9 traits of the diagnostic manual, because now I'm able to control them. I encourage all of you to keep on learning about borderline personality disorder, whether you have it or whether you have a family member or someone close to you with it, whatever it may be. And together we are able, as a community, to feel happier. I really feel like it's a mindset. Happiness, fulfillment, it is a mindset. It's not about what you have or what you do. It's about how you feel underneath that. And with everything, if you don't put your mind to it, it's never going to happen. So here you go. Challenge for you, all you subscribies out there, all 14,000 of you. Let's see if we can turn that little mental voice inside of our head. And for the next week, I challenge you to speak positively to yourself every day. If you liked the video, please do hit that subscribe button. If you're a new viewer, I would really appreciate it if you watch through some of the videos, or if you're struggling with BPD, or if you know someone who's struggling with BPD, drop a little like if you did like the video. If you didn't, that's fine. That's completely fine. Right, I've got to go because my amazing partner is calling me, but I will see you in the next.